In geometry, whether you're doing it for the first time or you're doing a revision, one thing is very clear, that you should divide into parts. Okay, divide the whole chapter into small parts and treat every part as one single chapter, right? So that your burden is a little lessened and you can focus on individual properties. The first part is points, lines and angles. Intersection of two lines, parallel lines, intersection of three lines, etc. All the properties related to angles and lines, it should flash at one point in time. Okay, we'll take them one by one. Second part is triangles. Triangles perhaps is the largest area. I mean, if you are capable of understanding the triangles, you can say that more than half of geometry is done actually. The general properties which are applicable to all triangles. Okay, so these are the properties are not based on the types or specific situations. These properties will be applicable to all triangles. You should be able to separate those properties and understand them clearly. Types of triangles, there are two bases on which the triangles can be divided into types. The first one is side basis, the second one is angle basis, and then there are special cases. These special cases are the ones on which mostly the questions are asked. Internal points, there are four internal points that we should know about: centroid, incenter, circumcenter and orthocenter. So we will talk about them one by one. Their individual properties should be clear at one point in time. So for example, when I say centroid, you should understand and remember the formation of centroid and the properties related. Similarly with incenter and others. Similar triangles is one very interesting area. A lot of logical and good questions are created on this. Primarily, you need to understand the side relation and the area relation. Okay. Then we come to quadrilaterals. Quadrilaterals can be clearly divided into these parts. The first one is parallelograms. This is actually the family of parallelograms, which includes rectangles, squares, rhombuses, right? These three, and you should know each one of them clearly, right? When I say rectangle, all properties of rectangle should flash. Similarly, when I say rhombus, all properties of rhombuses should flash. That's how you need to clarify each and everything. Then trapezium, one is the general trapezium that we should know about, and second thing would be the isosceles trapezium. Okay, we'll take them one by one. Cyclic quadrilaterals, I think the most important about cyclic quadrilateral is to understand that it is just a property. It is not a type of quadrilateral. Okay, it's a virtue of other quadrilaterals, that whether they will be cyclic or not. Okay, we'll take a look at all of them. One very important thing about quadrilaterals is the properties related to diagonals. So you should keep this in mind. Anything that is related to diagonals of quadrilateral will be helpful for you, and they're important. Then we come to polygon. We need to know the types of polygon like convex and concave, and the general properties which are applicable to all cases. And then there is one specific case, that is hexagon formation, regular hexagon and other things. So that would be one important thing to note down and remember. Then we have the next segment, that is circles. Circles in itself is an important area, important chapter. We will divide into three parts. You can see that: sectors and areas. Okay, sectors and areas, that is primarily related to the positioning of radii, right? Then segments and angles. This is primarily related to chords and tangents. So the moment I say chords and tangents, you should be able to get all properties together at one point. Then we have two circles intersections, two disjoint circles, or touching internally, intersecting circles and so on, and common tangents and common areas and so on, right? Then solids and mensuration, though it is usually taken as a different chapter, I have included it here as a part of geometry, or you can say geometry and mensuration. Okay. Here we can divide primarily into three types. Okay. Prisms, which includes cubes, cuboids, cylinder, etc. Pyramids, which includes primarily cone, the cone having different bases. We'll study primarily the circle base pyramid, which is cone. Okay. Spheres, You can also include hemispheres, which is a child of sphere. When a sphere is cut into two parts, it becomes a hemisphere. And inscribed solids, one solid into the other. Okay, so this is, you can say, primarily the complete syllabus of geometry and mensuration for all exams.